What is going on, everyone? You are all very welcome to the Gaelic Gridiron podcast presented by Print My Pint. Christmas is coming, and if you're looking for a last minute gift or something fun or exciting for your Christmas party in work, or you're having a wedding over the festive season, make sure you check them out at printmypint.ie. And as always, we are grateful for their continued support. Well, we are coming to you on the Thursday of week 16 of the NFL regular season. 3 more weeks of action left. And some big games still to come. Some games that will ultimately decide playoff seedings. It is that time of the year where every game, more or less every game counts, and there are many permutations going on. And we will get into that now, as well as looking back at week 15. And look, so much has happened, Conor, in the past couple of days. It's hard to keep up, really. Lots going on and lots of moving parts. It is, of course, Jimmy English and Conor Tate coming to you. Just the two boys today holding it down. Conor, you all set for Christmas? You have everyone's presents bought at this stage, I hope. No last minute shopping to be done.
I don't know this year. I think it's going to be a bit chaotic, but yeah, I mean, where we got our first gift last weekend with the NFL, it was awesome again, and I'm sure like Christmas Day games and stuff, we're going to get a treat for sure.
Yeah, I mean, week 15 in itself was absolutely crazy when you think about some of the matchups that we had and how much they affected the playoff seedings, and obviously the kind of key ones there being the AFC East showdown between the Bills and the Patriots, which Buffalo came out on top of. Broncos Packers obviously had massive implications as well, with the Broncos actually managing being the first AFC team to actually clinch a playoff spot there with that win over the Packers. Packers tumbling back down to 7th seed in the NFC, and they probably their game against the Bears on Saturday night is probably one of the biggest fixtures of this weekend. And look, we will get into that and throughout the podcast and look at some of the big fixtures upcoming. Let's start though with an item of breaking news that actually came out today, this afternoon, and that is the fact that starting Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa has been benched in favor of 7th round draft pick Quinn Ewers out of Texas. Conor, it was kind of intimated, obviously, Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel was questioned by the media whether he was considering making a change at quarterback after the Dolphins lost to the Steelers on Monday Night Football. He was ambivalent at first. He said everything's on the table, but obviously now, I mean, it's a strange one because the season's over for the Dolphins. I mean, why at this stage do you make that change? Is it a case that this is an audition for Ewers for the future,
Yeah,
or is McDaniel just trying to finish the season on a bit of a high?
you give the kid a chance to show what he's got. I mean, Quinn Ewers was really good in college. It was a surprise that he fell to the 7th round in the first place. So give him a shot, and maybe it's the wake up call that Tua needs to because his performances have not been A1 this year. So we'll see. And mathematically, I mean, they're alive, right? But they're done. So I don't see
Yeah,
the issue with it. I'm all for that.
it's it's a very strange move. It's a bit of a kind of a fuck it move, right? What do we have to lose at this point of the
Yeah,
season? And it's interesting actually that McDaniels went with Ewers over Zach Wilson, who has proven, well, not I say proven, he has NFL experience. He was the
yeah,
starting
but
quarterback in several occasions.
you know what you're getting with Zach Wilson in theory, right? Because he's seen it, and we've seen it in multiple places now. But Quinn, you got no idea, so let's give him a shot. I mean, what if the guy lights it up? Maybe then there's a quarterback discussion next year going in Miami. So yeah, go for it.
Um, I mean, what does this kind of say to you about Tua's future in Miami? He hasn't really done enough this season. He's been up and down. His play has been erratic at best. They lost to the Steelers on Monday Night Football just gone after coming in
Yeah,
on a 4-game winning streak. Tua with the interception, a couple of touchdowns in garbage time, but overall just a poor performance. I mean, he could be obviously he has a massive contract now with the Dolphins, but it could be the end of the Tua Tagovailoa regime in South Beach, Miami at this stage.
it could be. It could be. Listen, we'll see next year where they're at. We have to see their free agency and their draft process and see what they're thinking down there in Miami. But it's not. It's been a long time now for Tua. We're been 5 or 6 seasons into his career, and there's been no sustained success, no consistency in terms of wins and playoff wins. So it's dubious at at best.
Speaking of that Monday night football game, this was a massive, massive game for the Steelers because they stay on top of the AFC North. They were a game ahead of the Baltimore Ravens, 8-6 versus 7-7. Obviously, I think that week 18 matchup on January 4th against the Ravens is going to be absolutely crucial. It's going
Mm,
to come right down to the wire, I think, in terms of who tops the AFC North and gets into the playoffs. Um, Two very, very good back-to-back performances for Aaron Rodgers. He was very effective in that game. Not a
yeah.
lot happened. I watched the game obviously back on Tuesday morning, a game in 40 on Game Pass on the Zone, and I was sitting there through the first kind of two halves, going, "What's going on here? There hasn't been a single
Yeah.
score." And then the Steelers went on a four back-to-back consecutive scoring
No.
drives, a rushing touchdown for the tight ends Connor Hayward and Jonas Smith. But Rodgers was effective. He was calm in the pocket. He was playing loose. He was playing free. I'd say probably his second best game for the Steelers this season, bar the Ravens game the week before. Um, how do you fancy the Steelers' chances now? I mean, obviously they have a few big games coming up, including the Lions on Sunday, which
Yeah.
is a must win for both sides, really. But how would you
Mm.
fancy their chances at this stage of staying in playoff contention?
Oh, well, they're certainly in contention, Jimmy, and they're going to be in contention to the last week. I think Aaron Rodgers is enjoying playing football again, and that's just brilliant. And I think when Aaron Rodgers is enjoying playing football, you've got a very good chance to win football games. As you say, for both teams in separate conferences, that's a must-win game on coming up for the Steelers and the Lions. So that's going to be a huge one, and the Lions arguably need it even more than Pittsburgh. So let's see. But if the Steelers can take care of business in division and that Baltimore matchup, they're going to be fine, and they're going to be the 4 seed by virtue of winning the division, even with a relatively poor record in terms of the rest of the conference. So I think it's looking up. They're looking up at they're trending up at the right time. And happy Aaron equals a good team usually.
That's actually a very good point. I think between the Ravens game where Aaron Rodgers was clearly in his flow, he was in a flow state. You could see
Yeah,
even from that first pass of the game to the 50-yard bomb down the field to DK. You could see that he's finally found his groove and perhaps trending it up at the right time. Found his mojo, got his mojo back, and he really was looking as good as he has ever looked
yeah.
against the
Look,
Ravens. And
if Pittsburgh get into the playoffs, they're going to play a home game. Right? You'd fancy your chances in a home game. Then you're 2 games away from playing in a Super Bowl, Jimmy. That's
mm,
motivation. Like the team, it doesn't have to be a 12-1, 13-1 year to get your juices going. Pittsburgh are top of the division. They're mathematically, they are statistically the most likely to win the division. Aaron's in a good place. So, and if he's in any way healthy, which he looks like he might be now, he will be highly motivated. And the biggest factor in whether a team is strong or not in the playoffs is how's your quarterback playing. How's your defense and how's your quarterback? Pittsburgh defense still waiting to come alive, but it may well come playoff time. Cold December, January football. I like Pittsburgh at the moment. Not enough to say they're going to win the Super Bowl, but I like Pittsburgh. They're trending in the right direction.
one thing that is curious is the addition of the veteran receivers in Pittsburgh. So they brought in Marcus Valdez-Scantling during the season. They just brought in
Yeah,
Adam Thielen, and
yeah,
when they signed Thielen, I kind of scoffed. I was like, "What's he going to do now?" He has, I suppose, being a valuable addition in terms of blocking so far. He had one reception against the Dolphins. But when Valdez Scantling caught that
yeah,
touchdown pass, I had to actually
yeah.
pause and check because I had forgotten he was still with the Steelers. He's
Yeah,
done
well,
absolutely nothing all season, and suddenly he's out there catching touchdown passes from his former quarterback, Aaron
he
Rodgers.
was he has been Aaron's guy in the past. So, when everything's on the line, Aaron's probably going to look his way. And again, if Aaron is hot, MVS is probably going to get hot. So that's nice to get him back into the fold. Let's get him in on a Monday night game and against Miami at home, where Miami don't look very good. And yeah, let's get him involved there. Good timing for Pittsburgh.
But the article I was reading, I think it was on Steelers.com. It was kind of, or maybe it was ESPN. It was kind of intimating that when Aaron plays with receivers that he knows and veteran receivers,
Yeah,
he's a lot more comfortable throwing to those receivers. It was kind of saying that towards the end of his tenure in Green Bay, he didn't like throwing to the likes of Christian Watson or Romeo Dobbs because he didn't know them. He hadn't played with them before, but he knows
yeah,
DK is a proven receiver. He's shown a really good kind of connection with DK Metcalf as well,
yeah.
as has been evidenced throughout the season in the number of touchdown passes they have. So if this is the formula that Steelers have to use, I mean, it wasn't pretty at times against the Dolphins. There was a lot of dink and dunk, but there was some really nice plays from Kenneth Gainwell. who effectively
Yeah.
may as well be their number two receiver this year, the way things have gone.
Yeah, well, look,
Um,
it's not a coincidence that Aaron likes guys he knows, and more so than other quarterbacks, and because Aaron's game is predicated on a number of factors, but the main ones are changing plays and hot routes
mm,
with distinct hand signals, and he needs guys that he knows are on the same page, subtle signals, and back shoulder balls, man. Like when it's 3rd and 10 and there's nothing open, he just
go
throws
go
that back
balls.
shoulder. And he is yeah, well, basically, yeah, but you back shoulder because the guy's playing
Mm.
over the top. So, and that if the ball's placed right, which Aaron has the ability to do, he's best throw of the football in history, it's a catch as long as the guy brings it in. Like he doesn't even have to be open. It just he gets the head around in the corner, doesn't. So that's why it's so important to have the chemistry with his guys because of his distinct ways of playing the quarterback position.
Well, look, as a Steelers fan, it would be very, very nice to win a playoff game for
Yeah,
once, for a change. So, look, I mean, it could happen if they keep playing this way. I think we have a very good chance of beating the Lions on Sunday evening here. We're going to beat the Browns again, and then it all comes down to that. We're going to
Baltimore
beat the
game there.
the Baltimore game, absolutely. Well, look, I mean, let's see what happens. A couple of other games I kind of want to talk about with you from last week, and you'd have to forgive me for those listening or watching if my knowledge or if I'm missing some facts, because I was in fact sitting in A&E on Sunday evening in Beaumont Hospital, so with my finger hanging off, so had to watch the games on my phone, so I wasn't quite able to keep up. But look, Bills Patriots, I did manage to see a good bit of this before I had to
Yeah.
go. And probably the biggest game of the day last Sunday in the AFC East, an absolute showdown. Um, New England looked, Connor, like the stronger team in the first half. Drake May had two beautiful rushing touchdowns. He also had a fantastic block on a Travion Henderson rushing touchdown in the latter half of the game, and that 65-yard touchdown run, which was just Travion Henderson reversing course behind the line of scrimmage and then scampering with Drake May lead blocking. That's how you know your quarterback is invested, and that's how you know your quarterback has your back when he's lead
I
blocking for a running back down the field.
I thought that was Drake May's MVP moment, and then they went and blew it. They lost the game, so
Yeah.
that probably went under the radar a little bit. But yeah, that was super cool.
They did give it up in the second half, though. Buffalo came back as they tend to do. They're not dead and buried until it's over. Five straight touchdown drives in the
Yeah,
second half for Buffalo. Josh Allen on absolute fire, putting the team on his back. And we thought that the Patriots would have the AFC East clinched
yeah.
after this game, but the Bills still fight to live to fight another day.
No, I'm sure the Pats had their hats and their t-shirts printed and ready to go. But yeah, it was premature, and Buffalo just won't go away. Now they're still behind New England in the division. They're gonna have to catch up another game on them. But the door is slightly ajar now for Buffalo, if especially if the Patriots slip up, the door is open for them. So let's see how that goes. But just a fantastic performance in Josh Allen and Buffalo to grit their teeth really and win on the road in New England against a team that hadn't lost in I don't know since September.
Drake May MVP moment. Matt Stafford, the grizzly old gunslinger out there west in Los Angeles. If you could
Yeah,
vote right now, are you picking Matt Stafford and the way he's kind of come back
yeah.
this season, and or are you going Drake May?
I'll go Stafford. And there's a whole host of reasons why, but just Stafford I think has been overall more MVP-ish than Drake May.
MVP ish. I love that. He's been more MVP ish.
I think if
Well,
you took if you plucked another quarterback into New England, I think they'd be very good this year. Even though Drake May's been excellent, I just think the team is so well coached and they had a very dare I say it simple schedule. LA, it's big win after big win for LA. Apart from the
mm.
shock against Carolina a few weeks ago, where they still put up 28 points. LA have just been lights out against big teams, and they've won again and again and again. So that's where I'm going. Stafford. He's just playing such a high level. 41 points again.
Against the Lions, 41-27
Yeah,
on
against the
Sunday night.
Lions. Come on.
Yeah.
It's Stafford. Stafford is the MVP at the moment.
Well,
He'll be
speaking of that Lions and Rams game, Stafford outdueling former Los Angeles. It's always fascinating when those two teams meet because of the quarterback drama, right? And the way that they switch quarterbacks in the fashion that they did. Goff kind of cast out of Los Angeles, cast off to Detroit, really, where
yeah,
he's come into his own as a franchise quarterback. And look, every time they meet, obviously it's fascinating. But
yeah.
this was the Rams games. The Rams game completely outdid the Lions on Sunday.
Yeah, well, they were down early and they came back, but then once they established control, they it was their certainly their game to lose, and they were flawless. Very impressed with LA and Detroit. I still think Detroit, if they can beat Pittsburgh, I think they might get in the playoffs. But it's an uphill road for Detroit, and they need some luck ahead of them as well because they are currently out of the picture.
Well, I think that one of the key factors for the Rams beating the Lions was shutting down Jameer Gibbs. You take away
Yeah,
Jameer Gibbs, obviously you take away the run game of any decent team, and you force the quarterback to throw it. Look, good display from Jameson Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown, and on some nice touches from Jared Goff. But the Rams clinching a playoff spot, and they in doing so and in winning that game, they set up a huge NFC West clash. Now it's not quite for the division. There still are some other permutations
yeah, but it is.
where
Let's be real.
especially on Thursday night football on prime time.
Yeah, this is what a game. I mean, when they scheduled this in the preseason, they must have thought, yeah, this has the potential to be a good game, and it's turned out to be a monster game. So they got this one right, and I think a lot more people might be staying up this Thursday than maybe in previous Thursdays.
Now, I certainly will not be one of those, but it's fascinating. Like on paper, it's hard to kind of pick one of these teams, but your gut tells you
Oh, it's LA.
when it comes down to it, it's the Rams, right? They're
That's
way more
LA.
reliable. Yeah,
It's look at the two quarterbacks, Jimmy. Sam Darnold has not looked too hot the past few weeks. Matt
no.
Stafford is playing lights out. Matt Stafford and the Rams are going to win this game. This is Seattle have not been overly impressive in the recent games. They've been winning, but not impressive. LA have been lights out. This is LA's game.
I mean, the Seahawks barely bet the Colts last week as well with a
Yeah,
grandfather at
yeah. Six
quarterback.
six field goals. 6 field goals. That offense has been stuttering for a while now. They were struggling against Atlanta for a while until they got a big special teams play and then a short field. So the box score was deceiving in that one. This is LA's game.
And both teams 11-3 as well, so it makes it an absolutely fascinating
Oh,
showdown.
it's
But
cracker.
Connor only sees it going one way though, and like with the
Yeah.
Rams already having clinched a playoff spot with 3 weeks to spare, they're fighting to retain their number one seed, and of course to win the division and secure a home playoff game as well. Um, the other game, then, of course, that we need to talk about is the Broncos Packers, because before this game, the Packers were looking like they were getting hot at the right time.
Yeah.
It was arguably the second biggest game of last Sunday after the Bills and the Patriots. But with the loss, the Packers have fallen back down to the seventh seed now in the AFC. Sorry, in
Yeah.
the NFC, whereas the Broncos are top of the AFC for currently, and they have clinched they are the number one seed currently. A tremendous game from Bo Nix, who again is one of those quarterbacks who is kind of coming into his own at the right time, right?
Fantastic signature win for Bo Nix, right? I mean, he was interviewed before the game, and they were like, "Hey, Bo, you guys are home underdogs, yet you've won, been on a 10 game win streak. How do you feel?" And he's like, "Well, I don't care. My mom thinks we're gonna win." So, um, cool customer, man, and he played really, really well. But I think the story of this game, the big storyline, is Micah Parsons going down, knee getting
Mm-hmm.
blown out, his season's done, and the Packers without Micah is a different prospect for anybody to face. They are much less scary
Terrifying.
to terrifying, much less terrifying. Micah Parsons just disrupts the game, man. Even in the quiet games, he's taking double and triple teams that frees up other guys. So that's just a monumental loss for Green Bay, who traded everything to go and get him to be the difference maker in these big moments. So when he went out of the game, it was a noticeable difference, and Denver took full advantage, and a signature move for them.
If Twist was here, I would ask him how he was feeling about his preseason predictions. The
I
Packers
imagine he
would
he
still.
Yeah, I imagine he's changed his mind now with that Micah. That's just such a huge blow. Usually, like, you can survive one or two players going down, but there are a few X factor players in the NFL that there's
Difference
no
makers, and
replacement.
Micah
Yeah, he's
Parsons
one
is
of them.
definitely, and I think it's the nature of the injury as well that makes it all the more concerning. That it was a non-contact injury. He kind of just collapsed on the
They're the
field.
worst. They're the
I
worst ones.
mean,
Like, you see, when it's not in contact, you're like, oh, that's this. It's never good. It's either Achilles or ACL or maybe a hamstring, blown hamstring like Devontae Adams. But yeah, it's always a long term one. It sucks, man. It sucks. It absolutely sucks. Poor Micah.
Well, hopefully he can get back on the field next year and return to his full strength because the Packers certainly need him. And like you say, their playoff chances have taken a massive hit now. Look, they still have a strong defense, still have Rashawn Gary on the other side of that line. But you know they're coming into a huge game now against the Bears on Saturday night with the NFC North really at stake, and more than that, their playoff hopes at stake because they're currently at the seventh seed. Right, if they lose another game, particularly
Yeah,
against the Bears, they're in big trouble.
Detroit,
They're back to
Detroit
back to
breathing down their
chasing
necks.
themselves.
Yeah, yeah. So the Packers need to finish strong. They finish in Minnesota. So that I mean, but Minnesota have looked good the last couple of weeks. So who knows?
Minnesota look good, but still at the wrong time.
Ah, yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Good game though for JJ last Sunday. Not that it really matters at this
two
stage.
two back-to-back good games. Hey, it shut down Dallas. Like JJ McCarthy didn't go into Sunday Night Football going, "Oh, I don't care about this because we're out of the playoffs." He was still trying to do the best job possible, and Dallas were playing for their lives, and he played very, very
Hmm.
well. So, kudos to JJ. As I say, we're looking for consistency through these next few weeks, and he's been ultra consistent over these past 2 weeks. So it is trending in the right direction for JJ, but it's going to be a big finish of the season and a big off season for him to see
Hmm.
if he remains starter in Minnesota next year.
Well, he certainly needs to improve his. I think that one of the biggest knocks on JJ from that game was lack of cohesiveness with his receivers, particularly number 18, whose name I can't remember at this stage, who I should name,
Jefferson.
uh, Justin Jefferson. And he was even they were even kind of saying that he on one of his rushing touchdowns he did the gritty going into the end zone. Yet he's failed to connect with Jefferson for most of the season.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, man. And but Justin Jefferson attracts coverages that no other receiver attracts in the NFL. I think like unless you're a very trained eye or unless you're watching the eagle eye view, like nobody sees that, right? So it's not as straightforward as it is like just throw Justin the ball. There's actually a sequence where he continually threw Justin the ball, and he probably shouldn't have because he was well covered. And the ball just sailed out the back of the end zone. But listen, it's a learning curve, and I think it's also on Coach O'Connell as well to get Jefferson schemed open in some ways with some motions and stuff, which they already do, but maybe more so. Yeah, but yeah, I've been impressed with JJ the last 2 weeks, so let's see if he can keep it up going this week.
Just coming back to the other game, to the fixture between the Bears and the Packers on Saturday night. First of the Saturday games in the NFL this season, which is
Mm,
nice to see. Hopefully, we'll
yep,
get a few. Hopefully, we'll get a few of those at a reasonable hour here in
yep.
Ireland instead of stupid o'clock in the morning. Obviously, the Packers had a narrow win over the Bears the last time out, but you would have to fancy the Bears in this one, given the way that they're playing at the minute. Caleb Williams, he's speaking of players playing lights out. He's
Yeah,
playing
yeah, yeah.
the best football of his career. Ben Johnson has just completely unlocked him. The Bears, I think, are probably they're going to contend in the NFC for the Super Bowl this year. I think, and if they can get the win over the Packers on Saturday, it's game on for Chicago and for Caleb Williams and for what they've done there.
It's the Parsonless Packers, so yes, the Bears are the definite favorite in that one. I the Bears could end up the one seed very conceivably, or they could end up out of the playoffs very conceivably. They play Detroit in the final game of the season. No, it's serious though. We're not just messing around just for content and all that. It's serious. The Lions play Detroit on the final, or the Lions play the Bears, sorry, on the final day of the season. If they're within one game of Chicago, they have the tiebreak on them, so they'll hop them. And depending on where Green Bay are in that situation, Detroit could be playing for the division. They could be playing just to hop Chicago into a wild card spot. Chicago could be in big trouble because Chicago have the Packers this week. Then they get San Francisco, another huge
Who
game,
are also playing very under the
and
radar.
Detroit. It's the hardest schedule in the remaining schedule in the NFL by record. So yeah,
Like
it's
everyone seems to have forgotten about the 49ers at this stage, but
the
they're 10 and
49ers are
4.
just
They're
yeah they've
sixth.
just
They're sixth in the playoff spots right now. They're
yeah
third in the NFC West. They're taking on Indianapolis on
yeah
Sunday, who are led by. I mean, I don't know what Shane Steichen is thinking there. In surely there's some quarterback out there who needs a job that is better than Philip Rivers
well
right now, because
you think
Philip Rivers looked like he was 44, exactly what he was, like a
yeah
an old man on Sunday against the Seahawks.
Phil looked like he knew where to put the ball, but the ball just didn't get there fast enough. And completion wise, he had a fair amount of completions, but it didn't look pretty. And listen, there's like a UDFA out there that uh,
Like Brady
I think
Cook,
it's egregious.
Brady Cook in New York.
Brady Cook in New York, right? Max Brosmer in Minnesota. It didn't go well, but there's a UDFA out there who's screaming for an opportunity. You got all these brilliant quarterbacks that come through college each year, 7th round picks, 6th round picks, UDFA's, guys you can pick up off the street that are active, that are practicing and are ready for this. So it's for me it's a bit egregious that like
Egregious is
there's
a
so
great word to describe it.
there's so few opportunities that open up, and I'm happy for Philip Rivers. Like I have nothing against Philip Rivers. He
Everyone's
seems like
happy
a
for
good
Philip
guy and
Rivers.
stuff,
It's a great
but
story. But
he's
when you're
had
the
his run.
Indianapolis Colts, you're the Indianapolis Colts, and you're trying to get into the playoffs. And Shane
Yeah,
Steichen is coaching for his job, by the way.
yeah,
Okay, it's a nice storyline. Great. He was a fill-in quarterback for a week. He retires again. He's reset his Hall of Fame clock. He goes back to
yeah.
coaching high school football in Alabama. Put in give anyone else a shot at that job than Philip
I
Rivers.
completely agree. I just think it's egregious that there are so few opportunities that come about in the NFL, and that was a perfect time for a kid to come in and either stink it up and they lose the game anyway because they lost the game anyway, or a new superstar, Brock Purdy. So yeah, poor from the Colts, but whatever.
By the way, Philip Rivers' numbers, I actually did look these up earlier with the purposes of having them for
Yeah,
the podcast. He was 18 and 27 for 120 yards, one interception, one touchdown, and a QBR of 73.1.
yeah. Well, look, the
So,
interception was the touchdown was excellent. The interception was whatever because it was the end of the game, just trying to push the ball in field goal range with a few seconds left. That doesn't really count. The yardage is not great, but the completions, only 9 incompletions, what, 18 to 27, he's 66%. That's quite impressive for a guy of
mhm.
44 years old who's come off the couch to do that. But from the naked eye, the ball was not coming out his hand good at all.
And that goes
So
back to your point. Surely there's any kind of practice squad UDFA quarterback out there who would
yeah,
give the Colts a better chance of winning than Philip Rivers. I mean, right now, if you look at the playoff picture, they're right on the bubble. They're eighth.
if Colin Kaepernick is still, I don't know, is he still practicing? If he's still practicing, like I have no doubt a younger
No,
quarterback
look,
like him, if he's still in shape, I don't know if he is, but if he's in shape like he says he is, he might have done a better he would have done a better job. We're giving him a better chance. Give him the run aspect to it well as well. Like go get a guy like these backup guys like Minshew or something. These guys that come in and they just give you a spark.
yeah. Well, Minshew
Like
didn't have a
that's
great game against last week when Mahomes
well,
went
in
down
fairness, I
injured.
mean, look at that situation he came into. I mean, talk about thrown into the fire. But
Yeah,
like just one of those backup guys that just gives you a real shot. Just like a
Teddy
real quirky
Bridgewater.
guy.
He played this season, didn't he?
Yeah, but like not even Teddy, like a quirky guy that's got legs, that's got a bit of mojo about him, and a guy that nobody really knows about. That can win you a one-off game because that's all they were looking for. It was the wrong decision, and they very nearly got away with it, but they didn't, thanks to the brilliant Jason Myers.
Well, they are gonna. They're like he's starting again this weekend. Philip Rivers is starting against San Francisco, so it's gonna
Yeah,
be
well,
it's going to be absolutely. It's either going to be a miraculous turnaround or it's going to be car crash TV, and the
yeah,
Colts are going to push themselves even further out of playoff contention than they already are. Uh, Knee injury. Well, speaking of the Chiefs and knee injuries, like we were talking about
yeah,
Micah Parsons earlier, you have to feel really, really bad for Patrick Mahomes
yeah,
because like what a way to go out and end your season with a torn LCL and MCL. And he's had his surgery. He's back rehabbing already. He's already like you know how hyper focused this young man is, how
yeah.
locked in
But
he is already in the 2026 season. But like it's such a horrible way to go out.
he'll be back in time for kickoff next year. I'm sure of that with the modern medicine and the staff he has around him. But people don't realize like the quality of life he's going to have for the next 4 or 5 months just completely changed. And that's a big part of the game, man. Like that's a big part. Like it's a big chunk of his life. He's got kids. He's got a missus. They probably have holidays like ready to go and or vacations. And now that's all changed for him because of this. And so the human element here is terrible. And there's never a good time to do your ACL. But going into the off season when you think you're going to get a bit of downtime is really tough, man. So I feel sorry for Patrick. I think Patrick's a good guy.
Mm,
I know it's easier to tear your ACL when you have 500 million in the bank, but it's still like the human brain is the human brain. It doesn't matter how much money you
yeah.
have. So my
A
heart
lot
went
of
out to
people forget that the athletes are people. Like
these are guys.
yeah,
These are
these are
guys.
just
So my heart went out to Patrick, but yeah, he's a warrior, man. He'll be back for kickoff next year. I'm sure of that. And Kansas City are done anyway. So yeah,
Kansas City are done missing the playoffs for the first time since 2014 and the first time ever in Mahomes' NFL career. Like the paradigm, the power has shifted in the AFC now. When you
yeah,
look at the Chiefs missing the playoffs for the first time in 11 years, and you have new contenders. I mean, New England coming out of the Ashes for the first time since
Yeah.
Tom Brady left. The Broncos are the current number one seed in the AFC West. It's a new generation of young quarterbacks. I mean, Mahomes isn't that young superstar that he used to be.
Yeah.
He's a veteran now. You have young gunslingers like Drake May and Bo Nix
Mm.
leading the way, and it's great to see. Like you love to see the young lads getting their time in the spotlight as well.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant, and about time, right, that we get someone different. And I'm not anti-Chiefs or anything, but just it's nice. It's nice to get somebody different. You know, my dad and I were shooting back and forth, and he said, "What's your dream Super Bowl matchup now? Minnesota aren't in it," and I'm like, "Do you know what? I really don't mind. Whoever's like
Mm,
of all the teams that are left, whoever's there, it's going to be a good game. I guess I don't want Philly to make it because they've been there quite a few years
yeah.
now in the past few. But other than that, there's nobody really where I'm like, yeah, I'd be disappointed if they made it all the way of the contenders. So very excited for February and the Super Bowl and the playoff run to see who gets there. Who gets in? We don't
Well,
even know who's going to get in the playoffs.
speaking of Super Bowl, we are expecting to hear this either this week or Christmas week, early next week, whether or not Gaelic Gridiron has been
Mm.
officially credentialed. Either way, we are going to be in San Francisco. The flights are booked, the flights are paid for, the hotel is booked. We're going to be on the ground in Santa Clara bringing you top class content. Hopefully, from being actually officially inside the media center and at the game. So keep an eye on our social media channels because as soon as we know, you will most certainly know. Yeah, I mean, I think my dream Super Bowl at this stage is definitely Patriots Rams. I just think there's a
Mm.
really cool story there between Matt Stafford and the way his season has gone and how he's kind of
Yeah,
got back to his glory days at the age of 37, 38, whatever it is. And Drake May, who is he's the future. Like Drake May and Bo
yeah,
Nix, they are the future in the NFL. So I think it's a kind of a real nice kind of comparison between young and old, two teams who have kind of climbed back to the top after a few years
mm.
being out of the run as well. And I think that would be a great game. And it's a repeat of 2016, 2017. I forget which year it was, but when we had that 13-10 game. So hopefully if those two
Yeah,
teams do get there, it'll be a bit more exciting than that.
yeah. Hopefully, uh, I think that would be a good matchup as well. As I say, there's nothing really left in matchup wise that I'm like, I don't like to look at that. As long as Philly don't get there, whatever's presented in February, I think it's going to be a great game for all the neutrals involved, which is the most important thing, given 30 out of 32 are neutral by that point. So yeah, excited for the playoff race and then the big game.
One of the kind of top stories for Irish fans this week was our own Charlie Smith, of course, having that
Yeah,
game winning field goal against the Caroline Panthers with 6 seconds left on the clock from 42 yards out, I believe. He was actually technically 2 for 2 on field goals on Sunday because there was one call back for a penalty.
yeah,
And like the big story now, as we've talked about it before, is what are the Saints going to do? Are they going to sign him to the active roster and pay him and give him an extended contract? Or are they going to waive him and risk him being picked up? And we are expecting to hear any day now, really. We know
yeah,
negotiations are going on in the background between the team and his agents. Charlie has come out publicly and has said, I'm just focusing on kicking balls and letting the
yeah,
rest work
yeah.
itself out.
Okay, Charlie.
Well, I believe him because that's the mindset you have to be in, and that's the
Yeah.
mindset he's always been in. You can see it is just focus on the job and let everything take care of itself. So, but look, just based on what I've seen online, I do not see a scenario. I cannot see a scenario in which the Saints do not sign him at least for the rest of the season. You have absolutely nothing to lose at this stage. He's won you games. He's been reliable when he's come on. Like, can I remind everyone that his first fucking kick in the NFL was 56 yards, cold off the bench in the piss and rain in Miami? Like, if that doesn't show you that this kid has something special
Mhm.
in him, I don't know what will.
It would be very surprising if the Saints don't pick him up, but at this stage in my life, Jimmy, nothing surprises me. So we'll see. I really really hope for Charlie he gets this. He's earned it, not just through the hard work, but actually on the field he's put it through the post. So let's hope the Saints deliver for him.
And you can really see as well that he feels at home there. He's kind of adopted New Orleans as a second home. You saw the
Yeah,
response. You saw his reward in the locker room after the Panthers game where
yeah,
Coach Kellen Moore gives him a game ball and he gives a speech and his teammates are lapping it up like he belongs there. He is part of that
brilliant.
team. So I think obviously it's a business and it's based on it's a results based business. It's a
But he's given them the results. There's nothing
he
to go
has
against to
that's the
say he
thing.
hasn't
He
given
hasn't
them.
he hasn't got a single knock on him apart from that one miss, which he's more than made up for with that game winning
It's
field
not
goal.
it's not like we're talking about him as if he's there because he's got a different flag in his helmet, and like it'd be a nice story and all that. The guy's hit the kicks, so sign him.
But look, that is going to be the main talking point of this week. Like the news could literally drop it at any point.
Yeah,
So again, make sure if you are listening and watching, do keep an eye out on Gaelic Gridiron social media because again, as soon as we know, you will know. Looking ahead now, Connor, to week 16 of 18, the third last week of the NFL regular season for 2025 before we get a little bit of a break before we're into the playoffs. Coming up to Christmas, not quite Christmas Day football yet, but almost. Still a few more days to go, 9 more days until Christmas, in case anyone was counting like me.
yeah,
I think like what better way to kick things off than Thursday night football between the Seahawks and the Rams. So much at stake here for both sides, and a lot more at stake across the NFC. We already kind of talked about it. This has to be the Rams, right? Just based on the way
yeah.
that they're
We don't need
playing.
to talk anymore. This is the Rams.
Now, the only kind of question I have about this is Devontae Adams could be out, and with the hamstring, the
Yeah,
aforementioned hamstring, does that kind of do you see that having kind of any effect on the outcome, or
no,
will Matt Stafford just keep doing what he's been doing?
no. Puka Nakua is there, right?
Puka Nakua
Yeah,
is indeed. Sometimes you forget about him.
yeah. No, so I mean, they'll be fine. I think they'll be absolutely fine.
Okay, Connor. Well, Connor's going Rams in that one. Some of the other big fixtures, obviously Bears, Packers, and I think this could be a lot closer
Yeah,
than the Rams and Seahawks. To be honest, especially in terms of the kind of the effects it has on the entire playoff race.
yeah. It's absolutely massive. There's so many big games, and this is what happens. December football, right? This is when it gets real after Thanksgiving. I think on paper you got to go Chicago now. Without Parsons in Green Bay, I will go with Chicago.
Chicago it is. Just looking down the schedule here again, Broncos Jaguars, another massive game in the AFC because the Jaguars they've come alive in the past couple of weeks. They absolutely destroyed the Jets last weekend. Now a lot of teams have been destroying the Jets recently, so I wouldn't really. We did see the Jets defensive coordinator get fired during the week as
Mm,
well. As a direct result of the number of points, I think he gave up 41 points against the Jaguars. Jaguars just
yeah,
steamrolled them. But like
yeah,
they are coming alive at the right time, as are the Texans. The Jaguars are now they're the number 3 seed as of right
yeah.
now.
They've
So
won every
so
game in the last 6 weeks, so they're real. They're real.
do you think they're going to give the Broncos a bit of a test, or is it going to be Broncos all the way in this one?
I think it'll be close. I think they'll give them a real test. I'll go Denver, but I think it's gonna be really close.
And Trevor Lawrence is kind of finally playing up to expectations. It
Yeah,
seems.
it's that's nice to see. It's been a while coming for Trevor. I know he had that big playoff win a couple of years ago, but it's been a while. Again, looking for the
I think that was back when they were still Saxonville.
yeah, right. But that's yeah, it's coming good for Trevor, and he's playing good ball right now.
Similar enough, the Texans are playing good ball, and they have the Raiders, and so
Yeah,
that's not even a conversation we need to have because we know they're going to beat the Raiders, and we know that Pete Carroll is probably going to get fired at the end of the season. God help him.
yeah,
And just a complete overhaul needed there in the desert there in Las Vegas. Titans Chiefs again doesn't really matter at this stage. Both teams out of the playoffs, they're just playing for position. Bills Browns again a non-starter. There's one in the NFC South that is fascinating. It's the Buccaneers and the
yeah.
Panthers because
I told you last week that this week 15 was irrelevant for both of them because they have to play each other twice, and they both went and lost. So same stakes. Yeah, they just need to sweep whoever sweeps that contest will win the South and host the playoff game. So yeah, it's absolutely huge. On paper, Carolina probably slightly better at the moment,
do you know
but
what? I actually agree with you. Based on the way that Bryce Young has been playing recently, he's been playing
yeah,
out of his mind,
yeah,
and it's I love. I've always had so much time for Bryce Young, and like he's had his challenges with being undersized and not being accurate, but he's really kind of again one of those young quarterbacks who's come into his own now.
yeah,
I don't think I'd quite rate him just yet with the likes of Bo Nix and Drake May, but he certainly like if the Panthers make the playoffs, it's a massive win for that organization and just
yeah, for
I think
sure,
it's a
for
huge building
sure,
point for the future as well.
for sure. The Panthers have been solid this year. It's been a lot better than people expected, and they're so close to getting into the playoffs. They can just get over the line. Be a huge result.
Will be massive considering how hot the Buccaneers started, and we were all so high on Baker
Yeah,
Mayfield
I
in the
know,
first half of the
I know.
season, and nobody saw the Panthers coming at all.
No, not at all. But yeah, let's see if they can close it out.
Lions Steelers, then this is another massive game for both teams because the Lions need to win out and for their nemesis in the NFC North,
Yeah,
namely the Bears, to lose if they want to have any
I'll,
chance of
I'll
making the
go.
playoffs.
I'll go Detroit here because they need it more than Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh can still close it out in the last couple of weeks, and Detroit need it more. I just think they'll get it done.
Steelers are in Ford Field as well, so the Lions are
Yeah,
going to have the advantage of the home crowd, which
yeah,
obviously is going to be huge. We've all kind of seen game day atmosphere there in Detroit is electric. So you
yeah,
reckon Lions in this one?
yeah. I'll go Detroit in this one. Just they need it more.
Interesting, very interesting. Okay, well, we're gonna have to see. At least I'll be able to watch it in real time instead of having to
Yeah,
watch it back. Ravens Patriots on Sunday Night Football, prime time. This is a big
yeah.
again. This is probably bigger for the Ravens than it is for the Patriots at this stage.
The yeah, but the Patriots are just a far better football team, so I'll go New England. I'll go. I'll just go with the far better football team, and this one I'll go with the Pats.
And then wrapping things up, Monday Night Football, Colts hosting the 49ers. Colts lose this
Yeah,
one, they're done. 49ers still have a chance of winning the NFC West,
they can win the
which
NFC. Never mind the NFC West. San Francisco will win this one. They have strung together a lot of wins. They're a good football team. Nobody's talked about them. They will, I think, be 11-4 after this weekend.
considering that Brock Purdy came back and they were missing so many players, and
Yeah,
they had a backup quarterback in
yeah,
for the vast majority of the season. Like this is just if the 49ers turn things around and get into the playoffs, it's going to be a huge win for that organization
yeah.
as well.
Absolutely, I totally agree.
Well, look, there you have it. Another full slate of just incredible NFL action this weekend. Looking forward to catching up with you, Conor, again when we come back next week.
Yeah,
Obviously, we're gonna try and record a little bit earlier in the week, just for the week that is in it, Christmas week. So yeah, Conor, look, always a pleasure talking football with you. We will be back to hopefully to a full complement of
yeah.
three podcasters next week. But look, I hope you all enjoyed listening and watching, and we all thank you for your support. Make sure if you are listening to subscribe to us on Spotify, YouTube, wherever you are streaming this podcast. Drop us a thumbs up or a 5-star on Spotify. Make sure you check out our sponsors, printmypint.ie. And Conor, I will chat to you very soon.
Take care.